Hi everybody, Pat Huntoon here from Technique Junkies, and today we're going to be making this fun mini slimline card. Now this card is actually the newest trend, I guess you would call it, in slimline cards. It's not as big as the big slimline cards we have made, but it actually fits into a regular envelope. So regular business envelopes, the smaller ones, our cards are 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So you can just slide them right in there. And this envelope is just a regular envelope. You can decorate this envelope however you want. They're thin, but they're easily accessible and they're cheap. So I actually have a kit for you today that includes all the paper you need, the 3 inks you need, and the stamp you need to make 5 of these cards. I do not include the envelope in the kit, just so you know, because they're so accessible. So we're actually starting this by using the SD 1072 Every Bird set of 2 stamp. It has 2 stamps in it. The bird and this sentiment, Every Bird has its own song to sing, are 1 stamp. And the Find Your Song and Sing It is the 2nd stamp. So what we're doing today is doing this one on the outside and doing this one on the inside. So with your kit, like I said, you get all the paper you need to make this card. You will need 2 things. You'll either need a water brush or you will need a paintbrush with water and black ink that you could watercolor with. Now we are using regular paper with this, and I know people love to use watercolor paper, and that's great, but today we're just using regular paper. And as you can see, it's perfect with regular paper. As you can see, you have the card base, the black sheet, the front sheet, a black layering, and a white front. So we're taking the white front, and we're going to stamp the Every Bird Has Its Own Song on it. So let me stamp that, and I'll come right back. Okay, so I've stamped the Every Bird Has Its Own Song. I used a stamp positioner to do that, so I got it nice and perfect and dark. And then I dried mine with a heat tool because you want to make sure that you don't smudge any of this particular piece. So we're going to start with this, but what we're actually doing, even though we're starting with this piece, is we're prepping for the entire piece. So I am working directly on my Tim Holtz mat because I find it really nice to pick inks off of. So I'm starting with Salty Ocean. So I'm using Distress Oxide Salty Ocean. I made a little pile of ink there. And then I'm using Distress Oxide Cracked Pistachio, and that'll go right next to it. And then finally, I'm going to be using the Wild Honey Distress Oxide, and that'll go next to that. So, and now I'm taking the water brush, and I like to have a paper towel or a rag next to me so I could wash off my water brush in between colors, and I just use the same water brush. So I'm using just a little water in each of these colors just to pick it up so I can paint with it. So we're going to start with the blue, and I'm just going to paint that right on there, nice and gentle, not too thick, picking up more ink if I want a deeper color. And I'm just going to paint my bird. Let me put you in fast time. Okay, so now we're going to use the pistachio, and I have water on my water brush. I wiped it off just a little bit in between, and I'm going to go over where the blue hit and upward so that I can get some green on there. And then on to the wild honey. I love this wild honey. It's almost an orange and almost a yellow. So it's a little bit in between. I just think it's one of the prettiest colors in the line. I think it just is very versatile. So if I wanted to add more of any particular color, I could go back in and do that now. And just make sure I'm nice and blended there. And then I don't have too many lines. It's got a very watercolory look to it. Okay, so my bird is done now. And I'll lift it up so you can see him. I think he's so cute, so pretty. And let's set him aside. Now, what we're going to do now, if you were going to make all 5 cards in the kit at once, you would want to color all your birds at once. So do all the birds at once. And then you need a little bit of water. And I'm just going to mist these. And you can see that the colors running together. Let me move the camera over it a little bit more here. Okay, so you can see the colors running together. And now what you're going to use is the second largest sheet of white paper, and it's pre-cut for you. The size of this paper is 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I will have all of the measurements at the end of the video so that you can cut your own if you don't buy the kit. Okay, so what we're going to do is just pop it in there and dip it. We're going to get a Distress Oxide Dip going on here. If you get too much of any one color, don't hesitate. Like, I would like a little bit more blue on my piece, so I'm going to add a little more blue and water it a little bit. And I'll re-dip into that, and that will layer over the other colors, which is really kind of cool. Oh, that's pretty. And you can do that as many times as you want. Now, I missed this corner because my fingertips were there, so let's get some pretty color on that corner. And I could dip this as much as I want. I just think it's so beautiful. So there's my background. Now, this is quite wet because of what I did. Now, you would do all 5 backgrounds if you were making all 5 cards at once. But I'm just going to wipe it off my mat. And I'm going to dry this and come right back to you. Okay, so my background piece is nice and dry. And I took the opportunity, because it was curling a little bit, to put it in my bum oven. And if you don't know what that is, you take the piece of dried cardstock and you stick it between your chair and your thigh, or your chair and your bum, and it flattens it right out. So I have a really strong bum oven, so that was very effective for me. So what you're going to do is turn this over, and you are going to use plenty of adhesive. Don't be shy on the adhesive. I'm going to go all the way around the edges because it was a regular piece of paper and the fibers did stretch. I normally don't use that much adhesive. I'm a adhesive thrifty, I think I would call it. So I'm going to put this on here. So it's got a nice black background. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to put this on my cardstock. So this piece is 6 1/4 by 6 1/2. It is folded down. And I am placing that on there. And remember, all the cardstock pieces are cut for you. And then I'm going to take my bird, which I also took the opportunity to use my heat tool on. And I am going to layer him on a piece of black cardstock. This black cardstock piece is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to layer them together there. And just put it down on there. Now, you could pop this up. I am not including pop dots for you to pop it up. But if you have pop dots and when you pop it up, it's extremely cute. I'm just going to put it down normal. And then we're going to just stamp the inside of this and be right back. Okay, so I just stamped the Find Your Song and Sing It on the inside. And we have a completed card. So you will receive everything that you see here for 5 cards. It's such a fun little tutorial to do and so easy. These cards are adorable. They fit in just regular envelopes. And again, you could add ink to the edges of these. You could just blend it. You could leave them the way they are. The envelopes are not included in your kits, but the paper is, along with the stamp and the inks. So that's the end of our tutorial today. It's a simple and easy card and a fun kit to get. And I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial today and love these Every Bird cards as much as I do. Thanks for stopping by today. See you next time.